When you study passive voice, you learn a few important things. First, we learn that we take the object of an active sentence and change it to the subject of the new passive sentence. We also change the verb. Passive verbs include a be verb and the past participle of the main verb. Some people also call this past participle verb 3. They're the same thing, but in this video I'll call it past participle. So most of the time when we're first learning how to use passive voice, we practice a lot with simple present and simple past. For example, if we talk about a young boy who's going to school, we can say, he is driven to school every day. We use is, the present be verb, and driven, the past participle of drive. This means some days his mom drives, some days his dad drives, but every day the boy is driven to school. We can also do this in the past, simple past. Yesterday, he was driven to school by his dad. We use was to show that it's past and the past participle. In both of these cases, it's pretty simple. It's a be verb, either in present or past, and then the past participle. But it gets a little bit more complicated when we look at other verb tenses. Let's look at some examples. Our first one is for the simple future. Talk about actions that are going to happen in the future. We form these verbs with will and the base form of the verb. For example, his mom will drive him tomorrow. Now, how do we make this passive? We have to take our will and base form, the form of our verb, and put it together with the form of the passive, which is always be and past participle. So the way that I practice these with my students is to put these two parts together. So we know that a simple future passive verb will be will with the base form of be. Now the base form of be is just be. And then the past participle. Here's our example. Tomorrow, he will be driven to school. We have will. We have the base form of be, which is be, and we have the past participle of the main verb, driven. Now our next example is for present progressive. For present progressive, we use be verb with ing verb. And of course, for passive, we always use be verb and past participle. So again, we'll take these two parts in the middle and put them together. What is the ing form of be verb? Being. So our present progressive sentence will be, he is being driven to school right now. We have our be verb, our present be verb is being, and our past participle driven. So this is the passive form of present progressive. Our last example is for past perfect. Those are those actions that happened in the past before another past action. We make those verbs with had, the helping verb had, and the past participle. And of course, we make passive with be verb and past participle. So again, we put these parts together. And what is the past participle of be? The past participle of be is been, B-E-E-N, been. So our example sentence is, he had been driven to school. We have had, been, and the past participle of the main verb. You can apply this strategy to all the different verb tenses in English. all you need to do is write down the rule for the verb tense and write down the rule for passive, which is always be plus past participle, and then put the middle parts together. And that's going to give you the rule. For some people, it's easier to memorize the structure of all of these passives, but for me, it's definitely helpful to have a rule that I can follow when I'm putting together my correct verb forms.